How's everybody doing today? I figured I would do an update video on how things have been going and where I'm at. So, as you can see, this is not my Pathfinder. I ended up selling the Pathfinder and building this rig. This is a first gen Toyota Sequoia. Obviously it's not very stock right at the moment. I'm currently working on more stuff, but so the reason why I switched is because of having more room. I have a 15-year-old son that is 5'8", so there is a lot more interior room inside this rig than there was in the Pathfinder. So lifestyle change and things like that kind of caused me to have to switch up everything. So I'm actually no longer stationed in Arizona right now. We're in Michigan. And yeah, so I needed something with more room. I could haul more gear in. So that's why I went with this truck. I'm a Toyota guy anyway, so I like Nissans, Toyotas, Hondas, pretty much anything. It's not what you buy, it's how you build it. So this has a third row. We do have a Husky that we have with us, and then I have 3 sons that normally ride with me along with my wife. So I needed the extra room. As you can see, it's a basic setup. I got a pull-out shelf, tools, all that kind of stuff. I'll get back into that one of these other days when it's all cleaned up and finished. But as you can see, I don't have the rear bumper and tire carrier on it right now. I had fabbed one up before I had to leave. It was kind of a quick last minute thing, so basically used the factory bumper, and then I bolted on a pivot point and went back and decided to weld it and brace it in. This actually was a carrier that I had laying around, and you can't tell too much right now, but if you notice, center line is here, tires over here. It's about probably, I don't know, about 8 inches off center. That was fine with the stock springs and when the truck was pretty much stock height, but once I added the overland springs from Old Man Emu, which are a 3-inch lift, and changed out the front suspension, the truck would sit kind of funny. So I decided once I got here and I was able to rework it, I would probably center up the spare tire, get rid of the 2 gas can carriers. They're great, they look cool, but they're not very functional for what I'm doing, so I went ahead and pulled them off. So in the back, I am running, like I said, Old Man Emu, 3-inch lift spring overland setup. And then for shocks, believe it or not, these are actually just some cheapy rough country rear shocks for a 2nd gen Toyota Tundra with a 6-inch lift. So this shock is 30 inches overall length, and they work okay. The ride is actually really good, believe it or not. It's kind of weird. Even with the cheap setup, it just functions and it does pretty good. So on the front, it's nothing spectacular yet. I am going to be working on all that stuff here pretty soon, but this is a Rock Auto Special lower control arm, Toyota ball joint, and then a Rancho 9000 shock, because when I originally started this build, there were no front shocks for 1st gen Sequoia Tundra in stock anywhere. Everything is on back order. Fox, Icon, King, it doesn't matter. Sway Away, they're all on back order. So this was the only aftermarket shock that I could get that was in stock at the time, and I needed to get on the road, so this is what I slapped in there. And so far they've been okay. You know, you're not gonna win the Baja 500 with this, but it does what it needs to do. You can see the JBA off-road upper control arms. I went with those because, well, they're cheap. For the price, the build quality is excellent. The ball joint is beefy, and the polyurethane bushings hold up nice, and they're greasable. So far they've been pretty good. I'm actually going to rework all this front suspension, and I'm going to modify these lower control arms and modify those upper control arms. I'm going to do a spindle gusset, and I was originally not going to widen it because the truck is fairly wide already, but I would like a little bit more travel, so I'm probably going to switch this thing up and go a long travel setup and build it myself, and we'll see how it goes, but that's a future project here pretty soon. I've reworked this front bumper numerous times now. I still don't like it. I originally did not have a winch. Then we decided we were going to travel the country and do all the stuff that we're doing, and I decided that that would probably be a good thing to add to this truck. So I added one. Well, 2 generations of bumpers later, trying to make it look right and get the bracketry and everything welded up, and I still didn't finish this one. I knew I was going to change it again. A lot of guys typically run the main horn off of the frame, and that widens the overall width of the truck. And so the skid plate and everything, this was all made with leftover parts that I had laying around, so I didn't really have a lot of options as far as time and as far as material to build something super nice. It's just functional. It just does what it needs to do. The winch is on there. It's just a cheapy winch. I try to keep everything budget friendly and easy to get because I just didn't have a lot of time to build a bunch of crazy stuff. So you can see I'm running some just cheap pods. It's all off Amazon. Pillars. This is a 100 series Land Cruiser snorkel. I heated up, bent it, and it matches the pillar for the most part. I mean, it's okay. The factory fender flares obviously been removed, and front fenders are cut. Front sits a little lower than the back. That's why I'm going to rework the whole front. Plus I want to move the tire forward away from the firewall. I've already smashed it, cut it, done a bunch of crazy stuff, and I wanted to run 37s, but I'm on 35s right now, and I may bump up to a 37 once I move this point forward. I'm going to try and move it about 2 inches or so, but we'll see how that all works out. I'll give you guys an update as I build it. The rest of the truck is pretty much stock as far as drivetrain. The V8, the automatic tranny, transfer case, all that stuff all works just fine. This factory 4-link that's in here is kind of ridiculous. You can look around and watch some videos on these with a long travel. A lot of guys run the Dobson rear shock, but I got away with these. These are really cheap. I think they were 92 bucks shipped to my house for both. They're 30 inches long, and the valving, because it's made for Tundra, with a 6-inch lift, it works with this coilover spring. I don't know why. I just lucked out. So if you're looking for a cheap long travel setup for the back of your FJ, 4Runner, or Sequoia with a 4-link in it, you can run this setup. It seems to work okay. I don't have anything else really crazy to show you yet. Stock wheels, just painted them. I am running a 2-inch wheel spacer all the way around on all 4 corners. So far the truck is done really well. I took it to Moab on my way up here to Michigan. We were in Moab for a week, wheeled a bunch of trails out there. You can see I don't have rock sliders, so I didn't really push the truck and choose a bunch of crazy lines, but it'll do most stuff in 2-wheel drive that other vehicles have to go into four-wheel drive for. So it's been really impressive. It does a lot better than people think they would. And so that's just a quick wrap up of what's going on. I'm gonna rework the front bumper, get the rear bumper done, tire carrier back on it, and we'll see what we end up with this front suspension. I'm gonna do something. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you. Have a good day.